Okay, just do a quick little one here. See the comparisons. Gesture drawing is not about catching every detail. It's not about getting fingertips and nostrils or shading or anything like that. But what you do want to have is a pretty good idea of the form that you're capturing. It's the human figure in this case. And I think I've replicated that pretty well between these. And also a sense of movement if your objects have been in motion. Obviously, your still picture isn't going to move at all, but the speed with which you're putting down your marks will read to your viewer as a sense of motion also. Okay, so it's okay that things are a little bit scribbled, a little bit skiwampus. What's most important is that you get the idea of what it is here. And I think I've captured this. I don't know for sure that I'd know that that's a football player if I only had the drawing to go from. But I would get an idea of the pose that that person was in, kind of the direction their body is leaning, where they're going. So we're going to try a couple more of these. I'm going to use a thicker pen this time, I think. Couple of things I'm going to be looking for on this figure. One, that's not a typical standing up pose, so I can't think like stick figure for this to work. I'm going to have to look at the lengths and kind of the direction of the arms. I like to think of like a clock when I'm looking at my figures. I go, okay, this arm is at like a 12 o'clock and like a 3 o'clock. On like a 9 o'clock angle, okay? And I like to think in terms of distances. I want these distances to be about the same. But the torso on this one, which is normally really prevalent because we're standing upright, is basically almost non-existent here, okay? Because of foreshadowing. The torso is going back into space and I don't see much of it. I'm going to look for basic lines like here, here, and here. Okay. So I'm going to try to do this one pretty quickly. Let's do this one in 45 seconds instead of a minute. Okay. My pen ready. And go. So on my practice drawings, you can see I went actually right over the top of the other one. That's totally okay for the sake of this practice work. General forms are right. Looks like my proportions might be a little bit off, but not by a ton. I want you to look at these legs here real quick. You notice that it's not just a stick figure. I am trying to get some of the shape of the leg in there. Like you can see, gluteus maximus here, and we're moving into the calf muscle here. Okay, Here's the heel of the foot. And I can do that basically in just a single line. If you're looking at your object while you're working and not at your paper, you're more likely to pick up on all of those details. So you should really work on looking at your object that you're copying, not the paper that you're working on. Okay? You've had experience with that with blind contour. It's a similar idea here. You can see on this leg it really kind of gets the idea. Foot, heel, okay, knee, and head. It's okay again that the figures overlap. Let's try another one. It's like my favorite sport. Now this one's difficult because legs and arms and everything are like kind of overlapping. I'm going to lengthen this one out to a minute. Okay. All right. Ran out of time on that arm. I'm going to go ahead and finish that even though it'll go slightly over a minute. Just with the fingertips here. Yeah, that'll do. If you can't see something, then don't draw it. Okay? I couldn't see that other arm that was back there, so I didn't draw it at all. You might have noticed how quickly I did this motion here. That's going to give you a sense of movement there also. You're looking for primary forms and structures, and you want to do it fairly quickly. Now I actually have a pretty interesting arrangement here between my three drawings with the overlap. We can work with that some later. But on a study page like this, it's a-okay to have overlap between several figures. Another thing that you should try to do, at least that I'd like you to do with your gesture drawing, is to try to do it with like a single stroke, like when you did blind contour. If your pen comes up a little bit, that's fine, but I don't want you picking up your pencil or your pen regularly. I'd like you to try to do it quickly without lifting it, because you're going to move faster if you do that. If you start picking up your pencil, you're going to be thinking too much, and this is more reactionary type drawing. Remember to look at your object as much as you can while you're working on it.